this whole current jargon that goes around in the management circles, people, profit, planet, essentially that is all of these things lie in a certain spectrum. There is a certain cross symbiosis between business, society, environment, and peace and justice, all of that, right? So what is this synergy? Essentially, business emerged to enable better existence of human beings. Business is not an end in itself. Business was started to make human lives better, to make more money so that we can do better things, we can buy better things for ourselves, have better healthcare, have better infrastructure, have better recreational avenues, right? That was the intent of business. Somewhere down the chain, business has become an end in itself, where money has become an end in itself. Somewhere it is important for us to reorient that, where we understand what is the core truth of business. The core truth of business is to create exponential abundance, right? So when you create exponential abundance harmoniously, over the past few years, what has happened is we have created exponential abundance, but we have not created it harmoniously, right? It is possible to create exponential abundance harmoniously, where you harmonize various levels and layers of human existence. This includes, differences between color, caste, which ensures a certain gender, and which includes a certain social justice to it, and also harmoniously extracting resources, conserving nature, and having energy efficient practices. The way in which we produce energy, the way in which we churn matter, the way in which we churn matter and energy in a harmonious fashion will ensure that the nature is conserved in the process, right? So it is possible. It just requires a little bit of ingenuity on our part. It requires innovative thinking on our part. Firstly, it requires an awareness of these levels of existence, that whatever activity you do, it has a ripple effect on all of these layers of human existence. First is the awareness of this, and second is the internalization of these layers through harmonizing them in your business processes, which harmonize these aspects. So given enough thought to it, if you give enough thought to it and you set your mind in that direction, there is no way that the human beings cannot crack this, right? Multiple businesses have emerged in the past years which have demonstrated this. You can be profitable while delivering social justice and also being in harmony with nature, right? That is something which we value very, very deeply. I don't know if you guys have heard of what we are doing right now in the Himalayas ahead of Joshimath. All of you are aware of the subsidence that happened in Joshimath, the destruction and the landsliding and multiple other environmental damages that have been happening in the Himalayas, right? So we are developing in partnership with the Uttarakhand government and in partnership with the government of India. We are developing one of the border villages as a role model village, right? Where we are applying a lot of the learnings that we have been working along with Orville also in terms of a lot of ecological projects, restoration projects, in terms of sustainable and climate smart architecture, in terms of socially sound infrastructure and economic growth, multiple other layers which harmonizes all the aspects that I was talking about. This is what we have envisioned as something called as the human ability biome. If you have been following the Claw Global's journey on social media, you must have heard of something called as Soul of Steel, right? Soul of Steel is one of the activity verticals under the human ability biome, which we are developing in the Himalayan areas, So Soul of Steel is something that where you can also get engaged, get trained with us, and you can participate in our activities, So essentially the concepts that I was talking about as to how to harmonize the various layers of human existence, from nature to, matter, the living existence, the various divisions, diversity between human beings, and being as inclusive as possible towards people with disabilities, towards all genders, towards all ethnicities, all classes. How can you conduct business in a manner that it benefits them while also it gives you enough economic surplus to be able to further your vision more and more. It is possible. We are on that journey, and that is what we are set out to do, right? So that's a brief outline of what we do and how it interfaces with the theme of today's conclave, that is facing the future together, right? The future of business using sustainability and innovation. I told you sustainability is like the baseline, Sustainability is basically you extract, but you put back enough so that there is enough for subsequent generations, right? But the world has progressed much ahead of sustainability also. I would request you to set your brain on what is the next level beyond sustainability, that is regenerative design, regenerative businesses, regenerative architecture, everything that is regenerative. Basically, you put back more than what you extract. If you extract X amount of minerals, resources from the soil or the land, you put 2x amount back into the soil. You extract energy, you put back more energy back into the system, that is the planet as a whole, right? So that is the current cutting edge, where from sustainability people have transitioned into the domain of regenerative practices in terms of design, in terms of development protocols, in terms of architecture, in terms of business processes, right? So there are regenerative business which amplify and grow, compound on their own. You must have heard of concepts like passive income. There's so much being talked about all of these things. So I would like you to consider beyond sustainability the concept of being regenerative in terms of business processes, in terms of products, in terms of services, everything. It applies everywhere, right? So there are other things that you guys, in the theme of the discussion in the past 2 days, you guys have been talking about the global crisis, the dynamic nature of the fast changes that are happening in the world over, globalization, deglobalization. There's deglobalization also happening, shifting of global supply chains. All of these presents a lot of challenges. At the same time, these presents a lot of opportunities, right? India is a country which is going through a deep inflection point where we have a certain demographic advantage. We have more young people than any other country in the world, right? So we have 60 to 70% of our population, which is youth. This gives us phenomenal edge over everyone else. We are very, very well poised to grow very, very fast. There was a time when going abroad was an aspirational thing. It is our responsibility to build a country that we want to live in, right? And make it as an aspirational thing, where being in India is an aspirational thing, coming to India is an aspirational thing, right? That's the level that we should be focusing on. There's so many challenges that we have. If there is a better place, there's no better place to be born than India. There's so much natural wealth. There is so much variety of terrain that we have, beautiful people, beautiful culture, right? At the same time, there are so many challenges which present us with opportunities to innovate, with opportunities to harmonize our human existence, right? So with that thought, I would like you to think on these lines and set your brains. You guys are the future.
So, how do you connect cloth with sustainability?
Global sustainability has been at our roots. Like I told in the beginning, we are not even looking at sustainability. We are looking at regenerative principles in our business, right? So sustainability is what कि मतलब मैंने planet से 10 चीजें लिए, मैं 10 चीजें वापस रख दूंगा ताकि अगले वाले को नुकसान ना हो. That is sustainability. We are saying कि you extract 10x from the world, you put back 20x. That is how human beings will go into a cycle of abundance. All of this conflict, all of this, everything, lack of why we are not evolving, why we are not growing, is derived from the fact that there is lack of relative abundance. When there is abundance, there is growth, there is exploration, there is evolution. There is no conflict, there is collaboration, right? All of that is a function of abundance. So for abundance, you don't need sustainability. You need to be regenerative. You need to be exponential, right? You need to be exponential, that you take back X, 10X, you give back 20X, you give back 30X. So that is what you need to be doing. How are we doing it? We have identified one very, very important thing is what we realized, that India has a large population of youth, and the youth lacks direction and mindset. And what we realized is that there is a certain key intangibles that we learn in the special forces called as the special forces mindset. Now, this has significant application in all walks of life, applied for creative purposes, right? So we are looking at ways in which we can imbibe this mindset in the youth of this country. How can we train the youth in a manner that they imbibe this mindset, for application in their respective domains? in their domains of business. So essentially, what we have done is we are developing training modules where we can diffuse this mindset amongst the youth of this country. I don't have to tell you how to do a startup on Internet of Things or on machine learning or on robotics or on exoskeletons. Those are things that you will imbibe or figure out from your professional background in your business environments. But essentially, where we can come in is we can equip you with the right mindset to be able to pick these things. We give you the mindset, you apply it in your walk of life and live a more fulfilling and a more exponentially productive, efficient way of life, right? So that is how Claw is helping sustainability. We are empowering people to set them on a thought process of exponential growth, cutting edge performance through inculcating this mindset. So we are working on instilling these intangible skill sets in the youth of this country. Yeah, that's how we are doing. In terms of direct applications, also we are heavily involved in ecological restoration. I manage a forest in Oroville. If you guys have heard of Oroville, I tell whomsoever young people I meet them, I tell them that you have to come to Oroville, visit it. It's a living experimental lab in human existence, where it's a giant university and it's also a giant lab and a giant incubation center all at the same time. There are close to 400, 500 projects that are parallelly happening in 150 communities, researching and practicing various activity profiles. So Claw Global has been working with Oroville since 2020. And me personally, since 2018, I've been involved in a reforestation project there, which researches into which is the fastest and the best possible way to reforest a desertified landscape, how to heal landscapes, how to send landscapes on a regenerative pathway, right? So there are a lot of learnings that we have picked up from that, applying it in our business processes, applying it in our day-to-day life. So that is something, one of the ways in which we are working in sustainability. Or what I don't like the word sustainability. I don't want to give back just 10x to the world. If I take 10x, I would not like to want to just give back 10x. I would like to give back 20x or 30x. So we use the word regenerative, right? So in terms of underwater sciences, also we are looking at developing specialized modules which look at coral restoration, which include look at improving the fish stock, improving the underwater biodiversity. That's the third domain in which we are working directly on sustainability and regenerative practices, right? So these are the domains in which Claw Global is working on this directions of sustainability, primarily underpinned by innovation. What we feel is the level of innovation and ingenious thinking that you can put in, the higher is the level of abundance. So you can really easily transcend the threshold of sustainability and venture and explore into the domain of regenerativeness. Yeah.